welcome to a special, extra special postseason Audi 2024 MLS Cup All Teeth edition of On
Yeah.
the Capo Stand. I am your host, Ahmed Salim. Alongside me, as every week, is David Valentin, John, and Misael Rosa. Gentlemen, how are you doing this fabulous Veterans Day Monday?
Still recovering.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. So before we get started, David, did you want to say anything special to our veteran friends out there?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Thank you for your service, and for those in watching, Ivy's saying hello to you guys. My father served, I served, my grandfather served, my wife's grandfather, uncle. I mean, there's a lot of family that has worn the uniform. I'm very proud of that. So I hope everybody had a fantastic Veterans Day. And if you're listening or you're watching, thank you for your service. Okay, that's it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for your service. And for all of those watching, thank you for watching the show and supporting the show. This show is all about the fans, right? So please make sure to follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as on the Capo Stand, and on YouTube at David's Channel 76. As always, if you ever want to join us, feel free to shoot us a message, and we'll work into making that happen. We welcome all your comments, so feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. So before we get into what I know everybody wants to talk about, just a little bit of housekeeping. So let's start up with the Pride. The Pride started their playoff run this past Friday. I did not get to watch it in person because I was on my way to Tampa, which I will tell you about in a minute. But the Pride did win their first game, their quarterfinal game against Chicago, 4-1. And I have to tell you, I was watching it in the car, and I had to hold myself from looking at the screen because it was a very exciting match. It looks like they had a really good turnout. I think, Misael, were you there?
Yeah, they said like 11,500, and I
Nice.
think they were right on point with that. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, and I noticed it looked like they had the second floor, the level open too, like the upstairs. It wasn't just the lower bowl.
and it, upstairs was open, and it was general admission up there, so it was one price. Sit wherever you want up there.
Nice. Gentlemen, anything to add about the Pride game?
If they continue to play like they did on Friday, they should not lose. It shouldn't even be close. They let off the gas, by the 55th, whenever the fourth goal went in, they really let off the gas. And you could, and it wasn't even a contest, even from the beginning. I mean, 13 seconds in, we had a Banda had her first shot, I believe.
I remember I sent you guys a message. I'm like, that's how you play.
Yeah, it was right away. The commissioner was there. Grant Hill was there. Pretty cool. Yeah, 2 more wins. That's it.
Yeah, man. So best of luck to the Pride. If you're going to be around, are they going to have any more home games? Do we know?
Everyone's going to be home. They've won the shield.
So
So
all right.
Sunday. Yeah. They play Sunday at 3 o'clock against KC. The championship is in KC.
Okay.
So obviously we want to win, but if KC happens to win, they're going to be home.
Right.
For the championship game.
And like we had expressed before, the NWSL, just like the NFL, picks the side of their championship ahead of time. So to be honest with you, I don't understand the reasoning behind that, but it is what it is. So like Misael said, it just happens to be that the home team may be in it, and if it is, you're rewarding a team that did not finish first or finish higher than the opponent. So sad, but hopefully some of the Pride fans can make it over there.
All right.
The games are going to be on. The games are going to be on CBS, and
wow.
This Sunday the game will be on CBS. Yeah, both of them, and then the championship will be on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Excellent.
And it's at 8 p.m. The championship's at 8 p.m. too. Sorry.
Very nice. Well, please go out and support them. Show your support, and vamos Orlando.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. All right. So on to the feel good Kool-Aid section, because we always have this banner. We never get to use it. I need to share with you all about my weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
My weekend started on Friday. I was headed out during the Pride season, the quarterfinal game, and I was headed out to Tampa for the 2024 Tampa Bay Super Cup. Right. And I'm gonna share this with you on screen while I'm talking. So hold on. Why is this not showing here? So I want to give a huge shout out to the Orlando City Soccer Schools, right? The South Soccer School. They had the U13 team, the U15 team, and their U16 teams. All three of those teams won all their championships. They won their trophies. So a huge shout out to them. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased. My son plays for the U13 team, so the video you're seeing here is from them. They won all four of their
Oh,
games.
that's awesome.
This conceding only one goal in a total and scoring a total of 11 goals across 4 games. That's a goal
Congratulations.
every 21 minutes. I would love to be able to say that about our first team. About our right. Currently, they're sitting in 4th place in their regular season. They started the season a little bit rough, but it's still early and they're really developing really well. That's a good excuse because guess what? They're developing, right? But their performances have gotten really consistent. And that picture right there is you see that's the U13 team. And that gentleman on the left-hand side, that is Nixon Perea. He is their coach. And if the last name sounds familiar to you, it should, because he is the father of former Orlando City player Andres Perea, who is currently playing for NYCFC.
And Mr.
So
PK.
excellent gentleman. Super nice. So a huge shout out to him. A huge shout out to the technical director for the soccer schools, Magnan Silva, who's also a Navy veteran. So thank you for your service, sir. And also a huge shout out to Esteban Pareja, brother of Oscar, who's actually the director of those schools. So
Nice.
yeah, big shout out to those teams. They did an amazing job. So keep a lookout for these faces. I'm sure sometime in the future you'll be seeing them making some strides. It's amazing to see that talent, though. There were about 80 colleges there, Division 1, 2, 3. I mean, it was just crazy. It was nuts. I mean, I've seen tournaments, but that was just like mind-boggling. That's why on Saturday when I got home after the game, I went to the games. He had games on Saturday. I drove home to the Orlando City game. Then Sunday morning, woke up, drove back to Tampa, came back. That's why when I spoke to these gentlemen on Sunday, I didn't know what day it was. I thought I was going to be late for the show. So, yeah, that's it for the feel good Kool-Aid.
That's awesome. I've always seen those kids with the kits, and I've
Mhm.
always liked theirs because it got the gold on the V-neck.
Yeah,
I think that's a nice touch. I like that.
it is. So they're going to change kits though next year. I think it's every 2 years. So we're going to be getting a new kit next year too, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, new home kit.
Yes, new home kit. So on to Charlotte at home.
Oof.
So I drove all the way from Tampa. I drove and I was driving like a bat out of hell because his game ended at 4. And I had to beat traffic and Justin Timberlake traffic and EDC Carnival traffic.
Wow.
It was a mission for me to get there. I did not get there in time. I missed about the first 20 minutes, but I got there. And when I first got there, I was afraid that I had gotten there for nothing. I'll leave it at that because it didn't look pretty at the time. So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts about? I think we should do this in stages. What are your thoughts about how we played regular game, regular time, everything in slow mo? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I thought they played, better. Obviously, it's hard not to play better than they did last Friday. But I thought, overall they gave the effort. I thought we were extremely unlucky not to be up by at least one goal. That combination with Ojeda and Facundo there that Facundo just hit the inside of the post. I mean, 6 inches the other way, it's hitting the post and going in the net. And then just a couple other really good half chances, if you will, that we had. I felt like defensively we were much worse than we've seen recently because we just had holes. It looked like our midfield more than necessary. The defense was kind of out of sync a little bit. And for instance, the goal that Charlotte eventually did score was a misplay by Janssen that led to their counterattack. And, it's unfortunate. I didn't agree with the subs. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about the substitutions. I thought that the subs weren't the subs we needed. I did, except for the Duncan one. I thought Ojeda was playing brilliantly. Yes, I thought he should have came out of the game because he was you could see he was gassed right before he came out. I thought that they almost should have put. I hope everybody's sitting down. Put Nico in for Cartagena because I felt Cartagena kind of had a really off night, and then brought Muriel in for Ojeda, and then Duncan in for.
Do you think that Cartagena played like that because the yellows?
No, this one had nothing to do with his aggressiveness. This was just his passing. He was sitting on the ball too long.
Yeah.
Had some really, really bad. One of my youth coaches called them hospital passes, where they just don't get to the guy. I just felt it wasn't his night. It wasn't necessarily that he did anything particularly wrong. He just didn't have it, Saturday night, which is fine. Everybody has a match or two like those during a season. But I thought it was a night that we were really unlucky, especially in the first half, and it should have never made it to penalties. We should have been up 2 or 3 by the time that Charlotte scored, and we were very unfortunate not to. The second half was attacking wise a little bit slower on our side, but we still had some half chances, and Kyle Smith nutmegged himself. That should have been an easy tap in, but I have no idea. I watched it on TV right before.
Oh my God!
And still have no idea how he did what he did to not get that on frame.
I'm sure he's kicking him. He was kicking himself after that, man. Literally.
But overall, I'm happy about it. Like we said, just win and move on, and we're moving on.
Absolutely. Misael, you have anything to add?
You didn't like how Muriel played?
I thought he played good. I just didn't agree with who he subbed on for.
Yeah, because I thought he was really good when he came in.
I thought he should have been on for Ojeda instead of Angulo, personally, because I thought Angulo looked fine. Ojeda looked like he was absolutely gassed just 30 seconds to a minute before the substitutes came on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything what John said. A lot of unlucky, like he said, couple hit the goalpost twice. The far post and then the crossbar. I did like the Muriel sub. I thought he played very well. I thought he helped pick us up. Was creating chances. But yeah, the Kyle Smith thing, man. I was sitting right there, and I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. The Facundo PK to tie it. I didn't even watch it. I'm in the supporter section. I basically bent down. I did not look. I said, I'm just going to go by the crowd reaction. And when that crowd first went, oh, I go, no. And then, I heard the roar because I guess he got the rebound. Obviously I saw it on the screen after. But I just couldn't. I couldn't do it, man. I don't know. I just felt so bad about it. But yeah.
David.
Well, absolutely. So to me, the game was decided in the last 90 seconds. I know that a lot of people are saying, "Oh well, the first goal that was an all was good." Crimea River, our goal in up in Charlotte could be argued that was good. I know that a lot of people are angry and butthurt about the way the penalty happened. Listen, The penalty is not is awarded simply because the defender pulls the shirt. Anybody that has tried to pull a toy away from a kid knows this. Don't pull, because if I let go, you're gonna smash your head against the concrete, right? And that's exactly what happened here. It's There's 90 seconds left. Duncan just went for it. He felt the tug of the shirt. He kept going, and when the defender lets go, Duncan hits the ground and obviously dislocates his shoulder.
Oh my God.
That's the reason why we have a penalty in the fact that they went to the VAR is to confirm what I just told you, rather than, oh, he grabbed the shirt and he just threw himself. No, if you go back, you see he's pulling and Duncan is pulling. He loses control of the jersey and Duncan goes head first. That is interfering with a goal scoring opportunity, and according to the book of FIFA, is a foul. It's a penalty. Um, Second time in Facundo's career that he misses a penalty. We just got lucky. Once again, the pound of talent and of luck that we always talk about. That people get mad when we say that, like, oh, how are you gonna tell that these professional football players need luck? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was luck, because Kalina had our number this whole series. If he directed the ball somewhere else, and had the players not been ball watching, you know, all that could have happened. And then after that, we deliver the same medicine to them. Pedro Galese, my apologies about the background noise that you guys have. Pedro Galese, I have to say that he redeemed himself in a way that we should be happy. We delivered the same medicine they gave us the week before, and we got the win, and that's what matters. Now I gotta tell you that we just have to say there was a little bit of luck in that situation, and you would take it, but we fought hard against a very very good Charlotte team. They have nothing to be ashamed about, and football is cruel and unpredictable. We say here, we say that if you haven't cried for football, for joy or anger, you haven't football. I mean, these things are combinations of what football really is, and that's what we experience. We'll see you next year. Now we are facing a team that is coming completely. Rob Valentino has Atlanta United running through walls. The game that we're gonna have, I believe, is gonna be Sunday the 24th. You guys correct me?
Yes.
Yes, right.
It's gonna be a war. It's gonna be a war. Listen, Rob Valentino comes from the Adrian Heaps school of football. If you missed out the USL days and you wanted to know what Orlando City used to do in USL, watch Atlanta United in the playoffs. That's exactly how we used to play. Rob Valentino, an Orlando City legend, played for us in USL, was an assistant for OCB. The guy, to me, if he takes them all the way, if he defeats Orlando in Orlando, or he takes them all the way, you do not. What you do is you tell Patrick Vieira, I'm sorry, we filled this position with an internal candidate. You send that email right away. And if you don't, any team that does not have a manager going into 2025 should be giving him a call. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing. Excuse me, guys.
Yeah. I think for the game itself, I think we played a good game. Charlotte was a very worthy opponent, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, up until that point, we didn't know who we were playing afterwards. Regardless of who we were playing afterwards, the way we were playing, in my eyes, although it was good and competitive, to me, it wasn't enough to go as far as we need to go, right? Because at the end of the day, do we really want to put it up to PKs? I don't want to go to PKs. And I know the guys gave it everything they had. I'm not saying that they didn't fight, and they really did do their best. But I don't feel like at the end of the day, at the end of that match, I wasn't like, yes, we're going to this conference finals, right? I wasn't there. I wasn't thinking about that, right? I was happy that we won. We were all excited and throwing drinks and everything, but part of me was like, can we continue to play like this and continue to move forward, regardless of who it is, right? Especially, like, honestly, and I said it to, there was a guy sitting in front of me, and he's like, "Are you going to go to the Miami match?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about just worry about one game at a time." And guess what? It's not Miami, it's Atlanta, right? That's a whole other conversation. So, but look at how our last game with Atlanta went at home, the last home season game. So it's a reason for payback. It's a big reason for payback. But you need to understand they want it,
This
right?
is kind of like we had the Open Cup run, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
obviously we played Sacramento, but
It is. But you know
uh,
what though? It's
obviously
too stressful to go to
I'm not saying
PKs.
that's an excuse,
I'm
but
too old for it to go to PKs. It's too stressful. I'm gonna need to walk around with my defibrillator right next to me so that if I have a heart attack, somebody can use it. Because if every game is like this, no, that's way too much stress, right?
yeah, definitely,
But really, you
definitely.
know what? It's like if you look, and this is the last time I'll say anything good about Atlanta because we know where we're going. But if you look at where they've gotten, they didn't get where they got with Miami because they played a good game. They demolished them, right? They left it so that there was no chance that it was a bad call. They didn't leave it to chance. They didn't leave it to PKs. Did they do any PKs? Did any of their games
Uh,
go to PKs? No, right? Not that we can't,
no,
it's not to say that we're not good at PKs, but then it becomes that ounce of luck. Do we want to worry about that ounce of luck? I don't. I'd rather
no,
worry about all the pounds of talent that we have because we know we have it. We've had it since last season, right? It's just about that consistency.
You don't want to go on PKs with
No,
a player of the caliber of Brad Guzan, who
absolutely
has
not.
who has
Absolutely not. And everybody has
humiliated
good days and
Orlando.
bad days. Everybody has got good days and bad days, right? So Pedro did an amazing job, right? But I
Busan's
don't
in
think it's
form.
fair for us to put it all on Pedro like that for these big things. We have all that talent. Let's put it to work, right? Let, for me, it's like go in with the mentality that penalties are not an option. That's my approach. I mean,
Well,
I know
before
it's
we
easy
knew
for
who
me to
we were
say.
playing, before we knew who we were playing next, remember, Charlotte fans are saying that we won because the league wanted Orlando Miami series
Yeah,
game.
right. Yeah, whatever.
Listen, Don Garber was crying himself to sleep last night. They already said that they're expecting a 50% drop on the rest of the playoffs. Listen, I gotta say, you gotta be humble in victory, and what's it? My grandpa used to say, humble in victory and gracious in defeat, and that is exactly what we need to say. They are our rival. I mean, although I contend that they are a bogey team because we haven't beat them in 2 seasons. The fact of the matter is that they went and did what a lot of teams couldn't do. A lot of LAFCs, a lot of LA Galaxy, but a lot of Orlando's couldn't go to Miami and embarrass them the way they did. They kept Messi. He had the one goal, which we're gonna talk about later on. But I have to say that they are inspired, and that's dangerous, man. People love the underdog story in this country. I guarantee you, when we play them, every neutral is gonna be going after them because it's
Yeah,
it's it's, it's hard not to like their story. Rob Valentino, Orlando City legend, who I had few conversations with when he was here. Great guy, awesome dude. I'm so happy for him. Obviously, if he was with another team, I will be happier. But the fact of the matter is that they are doing it without the glitz and the glamour. And then to see Dax McCarthy, an Orlando local, a kid that arguably the best player that Orange County Florida has ever produced. Not my words, the words of people that know more football than I do. And to see them just perform, it's like that. Listen, at the end of the day, what it's gonna take for us to beat Atlanta. We're gonna need the 12 men. Atlanta definitely is gonna be bringing their people. It's not a
oh
far
yeah,
right. And last, we definitely need players that are inspired. One of the criticisms that I have given Oscar is that he tends to look. He looked at the last game of the season like, oh, okay, well, we can rest some people, blah blah. We really don't need this. Okay, great. But the players, the fans want to win the derbies. You gotta win the games that people care about. This one, it's double. It's a rival, and it's our opportunity to go to the finals in the East Coast, in the Eastern Conference, I should say. I don't want resting anybody. Just do your best 11 and go to war. That's all that's gonna win it. Because you know what? I don't. What's gonna be the excuse if we lose? We're gonna be embarrassed. I mean, Atlanta's gonna hold that over our heads. And the fact is that Atlanta saved us from having to face Messi and company in Miami. We are at home. I mean, guys, number one, number two, number three in the East are gone. This is the best chance we ever had in our history in this league. We gotta win it.
It's ours to lose, like some would say, right? All right. So that's Charlotte at home. So now on to Atlanta at home. So what do we need to do, gentlemen? What do we need to do? Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to some comments. We have a couple of comments in the comments before we talk about that game. Misael, if you could please do the honors.
Jim D, as the old saying goes, better to be lucky than good. Let's hope we're both versus Atlanta. Yeah.
Absolutely, Jim. Thanks for joining, man.
Serge Nash, 100%, but we need to score at least 2 to have a chance against Atlanta.
Yeah. 2 or more. We can't leave it up to a decision. We can't leave it up to a last minute goal.
Definitely. I don't
Last minute goal.
trust us with 1 goal. Mark Rodriguez, greetings, gentlemen. It's been a while, but vamos. Yes. Victor Rosa, at this point of the season, every team wants it. No team makes it this far to quit. All credit to Charlotte for taking it to us. Don't discredit their play. To win is going to be hard and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And probably a lot of ugly.
Serge Nash, again, this year, we win cup or God knows when. Yeah, it's our best chance, like David said. I mean, we're home all the way in the East if we make it that far. And, don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if somehow Minnesota makes it out of the West, we would be home.
Okay. So coming up on the 24th, we'll be back at home taking on Atlanta. What do we do? What do we do different? What do we do the same? Thoughts?
Well, first, the fans have to show up. I mean, there's absolutely zero excuse.
Oh my gosh. Can we just talk about the attendance that we had? I
kind of give a pass for this past match. You had EDC going on. You had the Justin Timberlake concert, and then there was also something going on at Dr. Phillips Center. But for this coming match, the fact that tickets went on sale more than 24 hours ago and there's still plenty of tickets left that aren't resale is sad. I mean, last I looked, it looked like Atlanta has,
John, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do the season ticket holders get automatic tickets, or they have to buy them?
We have
to buy them.
Supposed to be an automatic invoice, like you got to go on your account and pay it.
Yeah, but so you do get an automatic ticket for this game that's coming up.
Yes.
Yes, okay. If you opted into
I never do. I forgot, so I had 2 tickets that went on used already. So just want to make sure.
But it looks like Atlanta may have already purchased two sections in the far upper section behind the goal. We got to show up. We don't want it to. We got to be there. Everybody has to be there. If a friend that's been thinking of, this is the match to bring them to, because this is what it's about. This is what everybody always talks about: is do or dies against your rival, and that's what we have, and that's what.
What time is this game?
3:30 p.m.
3:30, yeah.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this good for our fans outside of the country, especially in Europe. And yeah, man, I mean, usually night games on Sundays, my wife is like, I'm not gonna go because I gotta work tomorrow. I mean, middle of the afternoon, no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect for the people overseas. It's gonna be what 8:30 over in England. So
I mean, like John said, no excuse. I mean, like you said, like John said, no excuse. I mean, 3:30, you're out of there by 5:30, 6 o'clock. So there's no excuse about, I got to work Monday. That's perfect.
And listen, a lot of people are going to be going down and doing a Sunday fun day downtown or on I Drive or whatever, do it downtown. Be there till 2:30. Go into the stadium, get in your seat, watch a soccer game, scream your voice out. Go home. You still have about 12 hours before 12 to 15 hours before you have to get up for work in the morning. So there's really no
Yeah.
excuse not to go. We, the four of us, I'm sure would be there no matter what, even if it was.
I expect a lot of tourists too, John. I expect a lot of our friends from the UK, a lot of guys from Europe, and listen, let's God, I don't want to be a repetitive record, but this is it. This is for all the marbles. I think last year we had a great opportunity that went to waste. Let's go. Listen, the Supporter Shield winner is gone. The last year's champion is gone. I mean, the East FCC, who was red hot last year's Supporter Shield winner, gone. Right now, we beat Atlanta. Then it's defeating one of the New York teams. So let's say right now the favorite is New York City. So it's gonna be a whatchamacallit, rival tour. That means that if we win it, then nobody can say we took the easy route, because New York City, Red Bulls, Atlanta, they are no chumps. I mean, we thought Charlotte was gonna be an easy piece, and you saw the war that we had to go through to get advanced. I again, guys, I just I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we gotta win. And I'm gonna judge Oscar Pareja on his performance here, because this is it. You know what I'm saying? If Rob Valentino, a guy that nobody knew his name outside of Atlanta and Orlando until 6 months ago, if Rob Valentino destroys Oscar, fire Oscar and break Rob.
But yeah, back to what we need to do. We need to be able to break them down, which we weren't able to do a month ago or whenever it was. And we need to be able to stop their counterattack. They're probably going to play very similar to try to play us very similar to the way they played Miami, which is pretty similar to the way they played us at the end of the regular season. And we just got to be able to break them down and, stop their counter. It's kind of, when you got a team that's going to be playing like that, I say it when Oscar has the boys trying to play that. A sponge can only soak up more, so much water. We can't just be passing it around, midfield in our defensive half. We have to be passing it on their defensive half and really making them feel uncomfortable with, crosses coming in, shots from outside the 18, loosen that defense up. Mm-hmm. Keep the movement off the ball good, and keep those center backs moving around. And this is a perfect game to start Duncan. I know Enrique's been the go-to starter, but to me this is the perfect game to start Duncan, because he has that off the ball movement. He's able to go up and win headers, and he's able to get physical with the center backs. And that's the key: stop the counter and break them down. And we're like Jim, I think it was Jim said, we have to score at least 2 goals to have a chance. I'm trying to find it in the comments and I can't find it. But
really quick, what's Duncan's status?
Did he actually dislocate his shoulder? I didn't see anything.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
It looked like when he went to the side, it looked like the coach was pulling a Mel Gibson lethal weapon. If anybody knows what that means,
on at that game, I happened to be sitting on the west side, so I saw it right there, and that's exactly what happened. They were trying to reset his shoulder on the side of the field, and they couldn't. The guy was in pain, like he was screaming. They took him off running through the tunnel, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't see all that. Oh.
Yeah, and then he came back because he wanted to take the PKs.
Yeah, so I was gonna say.
But by the time he came back, they had took him inside. I think they tried to reset it, but he didn't want to take a chance. So I think they took him inside to do it. They did it because he came out ready to go, and they wouldn't let him because by that point they had decided the lineup already. So he was you could see in his eyes that he was so frustrated that he couldn't do that. I don't know.
I heard that he came back out that he wanted to take the PK himself, and they told him no. But I didn't know if that was true or not. I know that after the game was over, that we won, he was high-fiving everyone because I was literally looking and I'm like, let me see how his arm movement, and he was using that arm, and I'm like, okay, is it like,
Yeah.
is this guy
Yeah,
like?
I think he got lucky because I think they were able to reset it, and I don't know. I don't know.
I did. I
Maybe
just looked on Google and searched his name and searched for news. The only thing on there about this past weekend is just like a they said it type of deal. Um, that's all I see.
Throw a sling on, let's go. You don't need
oh
your
my
arm.
god! Imagine playing with the sling one arm, the other one in the sling.
Yeah, you don't need your
If you
hands.
can
There's no
score in
hands
the
in
sling,
soccer.
that's
Come
it.
on, man.
I didn't even
I
realize he was injured. Honestly, I was so beside myself, excited, not paying attention to
Yeah,
what was going on around me that I didn't even.
when they pulled his jersey and he went down, he came up immediately holding it,
Hmm.
and you could see it in his face he was grimacing and like basically telling them
He
like,
was he was holding it
he
almost
knows what happened, like he
exactly
knew
like
what happened.
Rafael Santos. When Rafael Santos that one time when he ran off,
Yeah.
he was holding it almost exactly like that, man. So that's why I was just like, oh
But I agree with
no.
John. I would like Duncan to start. I wanted him to start the last game as well. But yeah, I agree. I would like Duncan to start if he could. I like his like John said, his size, man.
Well, that's
I
it
think
too.
that'll
It's
help
the
us a lot.
teams, right? It depends on the teams you're playing, also.
Yeah, of course, of course. But yeah, I would like Duncan to start. But something about that Atlanta low block that they're playing, man. Like it seems like nobody can break that down, man.
Have we
I
scored
mean,
against them during our last game?
we scored one, I believe, wasn't it 2-1?
Let me see.
I don't recall, but I mean,
I can't remember. Yeah.
eventually, like eventually, I mean, Miami put up 2 against them. And it just all comes from off the ball movement, keeping the ball moving, and hitting the open space, not even open player, hitting the open space. I mean, there's no reason with the quality that we have in the attack. I mean, we showed it against Charlotte. Charlotte was trying to play a low block and counter. We broke them down plenty in the first half. So there's no reason that we can't do it to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to remind everybody we did very poorly against Atlanta when we played them in the session day. And when we went to Atlanta, I believe the end result was a 2-0 result. The goals that they created against Miami were golazos. I mean, top of the box, very aggressive headers. They just never let the foot off the gas. They're our counterattack team. They, like I said, if you remember Orlando City from USL, you know that those teams let a lot of goals in, but they score more goals than the opposition. That's exactly what's going to happen. If we go tit for tat, we're going to surrender goals. That's fine, but we have to score more goals than them. If we play this conservative, the highly defensive football, we're going to lose. We're going to lose because Atlanta doesn't care about conceding goals. They only care about scoring goals. And they did that against Atlanta. I'm sorry, against Miami, who had a lot of talent. And, at the end of the day, it's who wants it more. Who wants it more? And, if they come in, they fill their section. And once again, we fail to go to the stadium, support our club. It's just going to be embarrassing. It's going to be like that first game against them way back in 2017 when they scored a one golazo from the top of the box because Jose Aja, allowed that guy to get so close. I watched the video. I'm like, what was he thinking? And then the following weekend, when we go to Atlanta, Jose Aja does the same thing. He just lets the player. I can't remember his name, but he had a douchey haircut. I believe he was from Argentina. Anyways, the fact of the matter is that we have to go there as if our life is dependent on it because look at how bad we entered the playoffs by the skin of our teeth, and all of a sudden in the East, nobody's above us. That means that we control our destiny. Everybody's going to have to go through Orlando in order to get to MLS Cup, and if we continue having the same luck, and in the West, some top teams fall behind, we may have MLS Cup here in town. So with all that said, the football gods are smiling on Atlanta, and Rob Valentino is a very smart man, tricky guy. He's a Swiss knife of football right now, and his players are playing for everything. And for two of them, they're playing for quite possibly their last football game, and they're gonna give everything they had. If I am Oscar Pareja, I surround the guys and I say, listen, there's no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. You're gonna have to be pulled out of that stadium with an oxygen tank attached to yourself and a stretcher. Plain and simple. We're gonna have to have Orlando Health ambulances parked, outside of the stadium to take all of the Orlando players home. That's how it's gonna be. Because if I'm gonna spend these tickets are gonna be expensive, folks. If I'm gonna spend my hard-earned money, because right now I have too many bills. I'm gonna go there to support the team. I expect a performance worthy of my hard-earned money. If we go out there, concede 2 goals by the 20th minute, as we have been known in the past against Atlanta, then just don't show up, don't bother, because this family wants to win. Gotta defeat Atlanta, and that creates our opportunity to go and play for the Eastern Conference Championship. And I leave you with this. Remember how we had an opportunity to win the Open Cup in 2019, and we chose not to because Atlanta came to town, embarrassed us, humiliated us, and their fans got to chant in our stadium. If you have any pride, if you say that you bleed purple, all this stuff, you're not going to allow people from out of town to come and tell people are playing in an NFL stadium, fake grass, tell us how it's done. You should be embarrassed if you think that's okay. Because you know what? As of right now, there's people typing on their little computers that this is a successful season. It is not. Go ask Charlotte. Go ask Miami. Go ask all those fans. If this is a success, FC Cincinnati, Columbus, if this was a successful season, they're going to tell you.
Well, this Atlanta hasn't faced an all teeth Orlando City yet. That was on decision day. This is all teeth Orlando City now. It's a different story here.
I wanted to like support that, but I just can't. It's too funny. Sorry.
I mean, let's be honest though. I mean, Miami does not have the defense that we have.
Yes.
No,
You're right.
They don't have the goalkeeper we have.
Correct.
They don't have DDT running down the wings like we have. I take him over a rusty Jordi Alba any day. At least, I've never heard Dagger Dan sit there and cry like a spoiled brat before a spoiled brat before because they lost. You didn't win your game. You didn't win 2 matches. Deal with it.
But you know what, John? No, you're right. But we had all those things the last time we played Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's my
that's fair. But
it's
this
frustrating.
one, this one means a little bit more. I really hope that Poppy has the boys ready and they come out with that attacking mindset, because very much so in a match when you play a team that tries to play like Atlanta's been playing for the last month, you play defense by possessing the ball and possessing the ball smartly.
Yeah.
It's if we're just sitting there trying to thread passes, in between 4 guys to get an open run on goal, somebody in behind, 30 yards from net, we're going to be in a lot of trouble because all of their players are going to be, facing our goal, and we're going to have to turn our backs to the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas if, we're playing smart, we break them down, we, maybe put a cross in or try to put a through ball in 18 yards from the goal line, we at least will have, should be 4 or 5 players facing the ball, ready to defend, hold the ball up, and get the rest of our team back to defend the counter. So, I mean, it's one of those that we have. I'm going to watch for a Facundo Torres banger from about 20 yards off, cutting in from the left. That just came to me. That's what's going to open the scoring. Is Facundo is going to tuck one into the upper 90.
Carlos Vela style?
Yeah, well, he's done it before. He hasn't scored a banger like that in quite some time.
Yeah, I think like 3 games or so. But guys, we got 2,000 fans confirmed. 2,000 fans from Atlanta coming down. Number one, and
Good God.
number two, my friends. The fact of the matter is that we have to win. We just have to win. We like. I believe it was John that mentioned it, or Marcial. The fact is that we play them pretty much with the same players, and they defeated us twice. They defeated us twice this season. So, what do you do differently? It's a good question. Uh, Perhaps win because, like I said, I can't take it to lose in my own home with those fans. Like I said, it's 2017 all over, and then it's like the Open Cup because they get to go to play for a trophy. They win that, and they go to MLS Cup and they win that. My friends, we were the ones that I gave them that cup. We should have destroyed them on the session day. We didn't. We should have destroyed them in the semifinals. We didn't, and then after that, they go to move on with a team that is better than us. Every Spanish-speaking player that in Atlanta that was asked about Orlando, they were gracious, they were complimentary, and they say it was going to be a tough game because they're a good team and they have a good fan base. Okay, these are not the bozos of a few years back, like what's his name, Jose Martinez going, destroy Orlando. That they understand the assignment and they're coming to win. They're coming to play to win their game. And when they asked Rob Valentino had nothing but praise because he remembers where he came from. He remembers that the friends, the people that supported him the years ago that are still on those terraces. And in the Spanish version of the 360, Miguel Gallardo said the same thing. He's like, look, I know the guy. We share a locker room for 4 years. The guy learned from Adrian Heath, and he's coming to deliver. And people are surprised at the fact that he's winning games. This could have been us if this fan base that would have allowed Adrian Heath time, but they didn't. Adrian Heath didn't have the players. Adrian Heath didn't have the budget, and I'm an Adrian Heath guy, and I'm still butthurt and burned and whatever you want to call it. But we one of his students, one of his Padawans, is coming to town, and if they beat us, look no further than the guy looking at yourself when you shave in the morning, because that's the people to blame for what is about to happen. If Oscar Pareja doesn't turn on the thong song, starts lifting weights, starts watching film, that's what's gonna happen. And that's what our guys need to do. Put some Cisco and start going to town. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Start your 1980s photo montage because my friends, we have to win. I don't care what it is. If we lose, so be it. If you go down swinging, I don't mind. But if we go and once again lay an egg and allow 2 goals in the first 20 minutes, and then you know what's gonna make me mad? Not that. It's gonna make me mad that I'm gonna be sitting below 2,000 Atlanta fans going buck wild, stomping on that aluminum. That's what's gonna make me mad.
There's one difference between now and when we played them a couple weeks ago, and that's who's starting in our midfield. No, Cartagena. Think about it. Cartagena was unavailable because of yellow card accumulation, so we had to start Felipe. And that's one thing that yes, he racks up a lot of yellows because of it. But one thing that Cartagena is good at doing is stopping that counterattack.
If the Eastern Conference Finals yellows start all over, does that mean if he gets a yellow in this game, he doesn't miss, or he still misses?
I believe if he doesn't, let me look. Hold on, I'll look.
I think I saw that Eastern Conference Final, conference finals period. It starts over the yellows, so I'm assuming I don't know. Like if he gets a yellow in this game, does he miss the conference final game, or does that mean since it starts over he doesn't miss? I don't get it. But that's another thing. Like if he can miss, if he gets a yellow, once again, he's probably going to be a little bit on eggshells there. and with going against a feisty McCarty.
Yeah, definitely. Let me look it up real quick.
But like David said, I did see the Atlanta Miami game, and yes, after the game, I saw that they did interview Guzan, and they asked him about Orlando, and he says that decision day he says doesn't matter. He said it starts all over again, and that Orlando is a tough team, and he knows it's going to be a battle, and he said that their mentality is just one game at a time. That's it. So it's pretty
And you
cool that it's not like David said. It's pretty cool that they're not like the Atlanta of old that probably would have bashed us and just talked BS about us. They seem like they respect us and they know it's going to be a battle.
Yeah. You know what? The thing that worries me the most, the mentality, right? Our mentality going in, and even more so Atlanta's mentality. Because Atlanta, if you really think about it, they went in as ninth place. What do they have to lose? Zero. If they're out in the first round, nobody's going to blink an eye because it was Atlanta. If they're out in the second round, nobody's going to bat an eye because it was. If so, they have nothing to lose. So the pressure, to me, you may look at it and say, "Oh, there's pressure," because that's for me. That's what it's about. It's that pressure, and I feel like the guys need to clear their minds and go in with that clear mindset because that's the only way you avoid. We don't lose the games we've lost. We haven't lost because we're technically worse. We've lost because we made stupid mistakes because we get in our own head. That's my belief. I really do believe that because
It,
that's the only reason that I can see that we have the inconsistent performances that we've had. Because that's if you look at the playoffs, we've won the last 3 games, but have we performed consistently? No. So it's not the guys aren't that out of shape that it's good one game, lacks another. There's something about that mental approach, and maybe it's just I'm overthinking it because even like watching the kids this weekend play, there was this one game that the kids they drew against a great team, and it wasn't my team, it was another, but they walked away with their heads held down like they had lost the game, right? So I think that carries across where with these guys, it's like you have to have a mindset of you just got to brush it off and move on. And when we have this reputation to uphold, because we're playing against Atlanta, they don't have any in their minds. They don't have any pressure. Of course they do, but what's the pressure?
well, it's like David said, the McCarty and Guzan, they're playing every game as if it's their last one because I think
Exactly.
they're both planning to retire. So, I mean, they're going to go all out every single game. As long as they keep going, they're just going
Yeah.
to go balls to the wall because it can possibly be their last game. Even Valentino, he's fighting for a job. I mean, he's probably hoping he can convince them to give him a job or whoever's looking like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, look at me.
Bro
Say
Valentino's
so.
gonna have a job, brother. 2025. I mean, I can't see that man going back to be Vieira's assistant. Rob Valentino has proven the man. I'm biased because I loved him as a player here in Orlando. I felt that Orlando, did not see the talent that Atlanta saw in him. But I gotta tell you one thing though, that we have to be honest. The pressure's on Orlando. Atlanta has already won an MLS Cup, a US Open Cup. They
Mhm.
they like we have said, they were not favorites. They were not favorites to make the playoffs. We allowed that to happen. They were not favorites to beat Miami, and they did in spectacular fashion. It's world news, by the way, world news to see Jordi Alba chasing the center ref like a little kid that mommy said you can't have candy at the store. It was amazing. In that little pink setup, it can be more ridiculous than
He
ever.
chased the ref. He chased the ref, and he was
Jason, like a
yelling at
little
him.
kid, I don't know, but mommy, I want candy. I've been a good boy. Anyhow, and then to have the audacity that, oh well, this was not fair. What's not fair is what the team that he plays in is allowed 4 players that anywhere else would be DPs. Okay,
And they're crying for a fifth with Neymar. But I
that
did,
that's
Misael,
unbelievable.
I did find the answer to your question.
Mm.
It says right here that a player or team official receiving 3 cumulative yellow cards will be suspended. A player who receives a 3rd yellow card in the conference semifinals is eligible to play in the conference final where yellow card accumulation is reset.
Yes.
So he can go all out as long
Hallelujah.
as he doesn't
Yeah,
get
he
a
can go
red.
all
He'll
out.
still be playing in. He'll still be playing in the
In the conference finals, if he
conference
makes that,
final
yeah.
if we win.
So one more thing, guys. If the pressure's on us and we lose, the embarrassment is on us because no. I gotta be honest with you. Even though history favors Atlanta United, everybody's saying that we're the favorites, that they're the underdog. Why? Simply because they're buying the narrative that Oscar Pereja has set up that, hey, listen, we had nothing to lose, and that's why we allowed them to win. I'm sorry. No, you defeat a rival. I don't care if they're bleeding on the ground. You stomp on them. Number one. Number two, it was Montreal's defeat of New York City that put us where we are. Otherwise, we would have been fifth. We would have been in Charlotte's place. And and we would have been the ones going to New York to try to make it happen twice. Let's not fool ourselves. We are here because of luck. Just like the Open Cup was old home games, and we happened to play a team from a division inferior to ours. Still had a problem with them, and we had to beat them, putting everything that we had. A lot of people, they're too comfortable, and when you get too comfortable, that's when you get shot. When I was in the military, they always said, hey, 90% of the casualties is because of complacency. Complacency. That's what it is. They got I don't hear anything. There's nobody here. Boom, he gets shot. That's exactly what happens. Complacency. And I think in our fan base, we've been very complacent. Very, very complacent. Okay, last weekend, there was a lot of stuff happening in town. Orlando is the capital of entertainment. I get it. And I'm gonna say some things, a little political here, and we're not a political podcast. The economy is a problem. And I know a lot of people that sit online, and my heart goes out to them that say, hey, I have to choose between groceries and going to the game. There's a lot of people out there like that. Just because just because there's empty seats at the stadium doesn't mean people are not watching at home. They are. I mean, I know some hardcore guys that can't do it because of the economy. I'll tell you what, I gotta say, listen, I gotta be very honest. My company, my industry has gone hit this year very, very hard. I just had my review. No pay raise this year. It's very tough. It's very tough to swallow when you have a year where you are overcoming personal situations and you're working really hard and the money's not there because things are the way they are. So I'm just gonna tell you that that there's people that want to be there can't because of extenuating circumstances. And I quote Jared Dillon when he says, "We are not saving lives here. This is discretionary expense. We know we're just entertainment, and we appreciate when people pay their ticket for the ticket because they know they can save that money and do something else with it." So let's hope that the fan base responds to the next game. But at the end of the day, none of that matters. If the 11 men that start on that pitch come Sunday the 24th at 3:30, if they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe they can win it. None of this matters. Doesn't matter what podcasters say. Doesn't matter what the expert says. Doesn't matter what the fan base scream. Doesn't matter. If those 11 men do not believe they can win, it's always.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the key to it. I think it's that mental attitude, that approach. That's really what's going to separate us and our ability to come out winning a game, to come out with the mentality to win. Because I feel like when you watch the team, when they come out, you could be like, all right, their heads are straight. Or you could be like, they're just not there. Right. And we can win potentially. But when you come out to basically roll over your opponent, there's a different way you approach it. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it when we've scored in the beginning of a game, right? And part of it is luck, but a lot of it is how you approach it. So I hope for all our sakes that the guys are using this time to clear their minds, not just to get physically ready, but to get mentally ready because it's a big mental game, I feel like, especially when it's a home game and you may or may not have as much support as you're expecting, based like what we're saying. You may not feel like it, right? Like I know when I sit sometimes, I sometimes hear the supporters louder than the wall, like depending on where you're sitting in the stadium. So that could throw people off a little bit, you know? So we have a couple of comments. I'll bring them up. Let's see what we got here. We had Serge Nash says, Poppy special not going to work. 3 goals, team will win. Absolutely. We can't leave it. We can't leave it down to the wire to break a tie. We
Surge,
cannot.
it's coming.
Huh?
I said, Surge, it's coming.
Absolutely, man. Victor says Wilder will leave it all out there. You play the game in front of you. Absolutely. And then Ray says, usual card reset means if second yellow card in the conference semis would mean you sit out in the conference final. Okay.
That's the way it is in the World Cup, but it's
Mhm.
different in MLS playoffs. To add on to what you were saying, Ahmed, and to what one of David's favorite lines about a pound of talent and an ounce of luck. The Roman philosopher Seneca, I probably butchered his name, said it. I couldn't remember who said it, so I had to remember it. But he said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity," and that's what it is. Is if the boys are prepared correctly,
Mm-hmm.
and set up to succeed in the way they should be, and they prepare themselves mentally and physically to perform on Sunday, in 2 weeks, then I don't see a reason why we don't win. We're at home. We got more luck than I have seen in an Orlando City game probably ever in the 89th minute or whatever it was when Duncan got called for that foul. I thought for sure when that ref was heading over to the monitor, I thought for sure it was getting overturned. Because that's been our luck. Always. That's at any time that it's went that way.
Everybody's heart stopped when he went like this.
Yep. Late in
Well,
the
that's why it
game.
was wild to me that the Charlotte fans were saying that they thought that the league was, setting this up to be us versus Miami. I'm like, they don't know that we don't get these
They're on
calls.
drugs.
Yeah.
They're on drugs. Listen,
They're new to the sport. They don't realize that we're not the sweethearts of the league. It's Atlanta, Miami, New York City,
right.
and LAFC. Those are the 4 teams that the league wants to see succeed, and everybody else doesn't matter. So they're still young and naive. They'll learn.
Guys,
They still think they have a playoff victory, which officially they don't because they still only have draws and 1 loss.
Rob Valentino's story this past playoffs. They had to go to a rival's house to get there. They did that. They won. Then they had to beat one of the most iconic players in Atlanta's history, Jose Martinez. And then they had to go beat the Barca 2006.
2.0.
Yeah, exactly. and the manager that got them MLS Cup. So again, that's why I'm saying that when we go to Atlanta, we those first 20 minutes, we just gotta go there and punch him in the mouth. That's what we have to do, and to quote the great Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. We gotta go and do it because you know why I say this? Because Atlanta has earned their spot. They have earned their spot. There was no luck on their way. They just went out there and grinded it. They went out there and grinded it and got and I have to say, Brad Busan is a heck of a goalkeeper. Not to take anything away from Pedro, but we're not gonna go against a guy that is gonna make it easy for us to score. End of the day is like if you purchase your ticket to go support the boys or you stay home and watch the game, know this. That what you're about to witness may be one of the greatest Orlando City games or one of the worst. That there's no in between. This is black and white, and I want us to be on the right side of history. I think we have suffered enough, we have come short enough, and damn it, this is our time. This is our moment. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth, I have watched the sport for 30 years. My team in England, my team in Israel, they have given me great joys and great suffering, just like Orlando City. And my expertise says that opportunities like this don't come by every day. They do not, because we don't know what's going to happen in the West either. So if we end up making it to MLS Cup and it's here in Orlando, play the lotto, because I'm telling you right now, back in June, I did not see us not even making the playoffs. So that's all I gotta say. And again, I love the guy's positivity. I just suffer enough. I just suffer enough through life, and you know, and when I say, you know, in football, if you haven't cried or for joy or anger in football, you have never football. I've been on the losing side way too many times, guys. I see my teams being relegated. I see my teams lose championships. I see my teams come up short, and you know, this is the moment that I've been waiting for Orlando City to go and lift the trophy that matters, the trophy that matters. And one last jab, Infantino sending my Inter Miami to the world, the Club World Cup. You should be embarrassed. My goodness, you disgust me.
So I know we got people in here. I'm sure either watching live, tuning in live, or that will listen in audio. That work in the tourism industry. It's just, I used to work in it. It's a small world in that. Let everybody know if Atlanta United is spending the night to throw a couple marbles underneath every mattress, because Guzan's 40 years old, and you need. I know I'm still several years away from being 40, but I know
I was
if
gonna
I
say,
sleep
hey
like the
man,
princess and the pea anymore, and it's like
Hey, brother,
you
I'm
know.
2 years away from 50. Come on now.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, the dude's
yeah,
40. Eventually, he's going to have an off night, off
right.
day, off match. I mean, he's went, a solid month and a half playing probably the highest caliber he's ever played. He's going to let up goals eventually. I
No,
mean, I mean,
to
think about
quote
Tim Howard in that World Cup. He set a record, and his team still lost. So I mean, it's
to
just a matter
quote
of
to
you
quote
know.
the great oh God, you know, I that this again. I'm almost 50, so this is what happens when you're tired. To quote our good friend Sergio Ruiz, the Spanish voice of Orlando City, your best night maybe your opponent's worst night, and vice versa. So yeah, you know, John, I agree with you 1,000%, my friend. We just,
I mean,
like I said,
think about Pedro. Think about Pedro, who's quite a bit younger than Guzan.
yeah, for
He
sure.
looked absolutely horrible in the penalties, a little over a week ago. And then Saturday, he almost he stopped two of the three that they made, or that they took, and almost stopped the third one. So, yes, Guzan's been on an extreme level. Is he getting in my opinion, he should have been called up in this camp. I'm grateful he isn't, because the worst thing you can do when somebody's on a hot streak like that, like he is to take a break and kind of get out of the routine of, every 5 to 7 days going and playing a match. So, I just hope, because we've talked about it before, how we always seem to look after, we get an international break off, or we just get a random bye
I know
week off.
Facundo's with you, Uruguay. Is
Yeah.
anybody else missing?
I haven't seen anything on socials that say Pedro and Cartagena were called up.
Right, and then there's a camp for the U.S. and I believe Duncan missed it because of the injury, and I
Duncan wasn't even called up. Period. He
it
wasn't even in the
wasn't.
talks for it.
Okay. So you know, again, I'm gonna be selfish here. I just hope our guys don't get called for anything, and we just stay focused, and you know, and that's it. You know, I mean, again, I just want to see. What I want to see from Orlando City media is our guys training, 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 training. I tell
No
you,
more
I
rondo
was gonna
drills. We don't need to do rondo drills against Atlanta. We need to
no, for
do
sure.
we
I
need to
was
do
gonna ask
movement
When I
drills
was in the
and cutting
military,
drills.
when I was on my best was when I was grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out. And I think we need that. We got some comments, guys.
Yep. Go ahead, Misael. I'll bring him up.
Ray says it is rare for things to fall like they did for OC. If Papi doesn't make MLS final, it is a failure. I agree. Serge, and we need to sign Rob Valentino as OC new coach. I was gonna say that earlier when you said that, David, when you were talking about him earlier.
Mhm.
That's why I was going like this, pointing at us, meaning
No, for
like
sure,
to
for
me, it's
sure.
conference finals or bust. I know Ray said all the way to the cup final, which maybe I guess now that we would be home the rest of the way in the East. Yeah. I was gonna say,
Wow. Yeah.
maybe try him here. Ray
Amazing.
says OC can make MLS finals without playing a seed higher than 5.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Mark
crazy when you
Rodriguez,
really think about
David, good point on financial issues for some fans. In my case, work is now totally in the way of 95% of matches, but I watch every single one of them.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, a lot of people assume, oh, empty seat, no fan. That's not true. We are one of the top teams in viewership in Apple Plus, and I'll tell you how I know, but I know we're top 10 when it comes to viewership, and you know and we also have something that they call is good viewership. When the camera pans, you know, our fans going crazy, you know, they love that. So they you know, our games are always out there. And besides, this year we have several games that were for free. When you make the free Apple Plus is because they feel that there's something in there to hook people in. So I am very appreciative of that, you know. And you know, I want to take the opportunity, because maybe next time we see each other, it's the end of the season. Who knows? You know, football's going unpredictable. I just want to thank, first of all the fans that have been on the road this year. You are Orlando City. You have always been Orlando City, and you will always be Orlando City. You know, I haven't had the opportunity to be on an away game yet, and I appreciate all the people that go out there to make it happen. Also, I want to thank you know, Jared Dillon and you know, Mark Wilf and all the bodies in the front office that have created a great atmosphere for us. Obviously, there's room for improvement, but you know, if we're gonna be first to criticize them, we're gonna also be first to congratulate them. I think this year was fantastic. It was magical, and you know, if we play our cards right, this season is gonna continue to roll way into December. So, with that said, I just want to also thank all the fans that. Have been watching us week after week. I know it's, you know, it's been difficult for us to create a podcast from zero and get up there. For me personally, it has been a battle, uh, personally, mentally, and I want to thank this gentleman that helped me and that pushed me through to come on the mic every Monday. I just want to say one thing, because I think we should be running out of time here in a second. I just want to say one thing. Let's go support the boys and the girls, as Orlando Pride is on the hunt for a trophy. And thank God for them, because that club and that fan base has really suffered. And you know, this month, we already know who's the champion of MLS next, which is North Texas. Congratulations to them, an organization that Oscar Perez have built that continues to produce trophy after trophy after trophy. We should be knowing who's going to be our USL League One champion here this week, and also the USL Championship champions. Tampa Bay Rowdies are out of them. So guess what? Right now in the state of Florida, the only football team, soccer team, how you want to call it, that in men or women that is fighting for a trophy is Orlando City Pride, Orlando City and Orlando Pride. So be very prideful on that. Very, you know, we have nothing to be embarrassed about. We are sticking the face for the state of Florida, you know, sticking out the face for the state of Florida. So thank you very much for that. And you know, if there's anything else, guys, this is the moment.
Are we superstitious in here, or do we want to do a score prediction?
Oh no, I ain't.
All right.
I ain't
I'm
doing
just
nothing,
asking.
man.
I'm just asking.
I do want to bring one thing up that I brought up before the show, just to poke fun at our little ugly cousin down south.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a new tradition in the MLS of celebrating when the opponent beats you
Gets
in
eliminated.
a playoff series. And this is from when Miami lost. They cut off the
Yeah, pop off the fireworks.
They set off the fireworks.
Yeah. Messi was already in the locker room by then, so he didn't get to see these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Messi ran out of there, so he ain't see those fireworks.
All right, gentlemen. I think we've beaten the dead horse at this point. All right. So thank you to all 43 of you for watching with us. I think it was more than that at one point. We will be back here again on Monday, November 25th, after the next playoff round. Hopefully, with lots of good news.
Oh
But in
yeah,
the meantime, we're going to leave you, reminding you the only way we know how, that football is played on grass, not on paper, that football is cruel and unpredictable, that football is a pound of talent and an ounce of luck as we keep learning more and more. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger over football, have you really footballed? So for myself, John, Misael, and David, may God bless you. And as always, vamos,
Orlando.
Orlando.